Hi, my name's Jason Guss. I'm with the Rick Smith Golf Academy at Treetops Resort in Gaylord, Michigan. You know, a lot of times when we're taught how to chip, it's always off a perfect lie. But how many times do you get a perfect lie when you're playing around the golf? So let's go through today how to hit some really good chips off some bad lies. The first lie I want to talk about is the downhill lie. And the reason this is such a tough lie is because most amateurs we see already tend to hit behind the ball, and now we've just raised the back of the ground up. So what's going to happen is they're going to have a tendency to want to hit back there too much. So what do? We make one simple adjustment. We take our hips and we shift them to the right or away from the target. And when we do that, that actually gets our shoulders to match the slope. Well, now we've put ourselves in a position where the club can go up the slope in the backswing and stay low to the ground in the through swing. And that's how we're actually going to get that club to run up and down the slope and hit a solid chip. The next lie would be this. Would be the uphill lie. And this is just the opposite. A lot of times when people try to chip on an uphill lie, they can run the club into the front of the ground in front of the ball. So what we got to do again is we got to match our shoulders up with the angle of the slope so that our club can work up and down that slope. So what are we going to do? We're going to take our upper body, we're going to tilt it back just a little bit to level our shoulders out. Now, as we make our backswing, the club will go a little lower on the backswing, but then it's okay if it actually rides up the slope on the through swing. That's the second one. The third one is this, ball below the feet. Now this is a tricky one because one thing you've always been told in chipping is to choke down. Well, something that's interesting on this shot is the ball is so far below my feet that if I were to choke down, I would wreck my posture. So what do? I take my setup, I let my arms hang naturally, and when I let my arms hang naturally, you can see my hands barely get on the grip end of that club. It's what I like to call measuring out to the lie. So, let your arms hang, let your hands grip on the club wherever they be, and then from there, you're going to go ahead and hit your shot, and you're just going to make sure you keep a little tilt in your finish to keep that club low to the ground. All right, now we have this lie, where the ball's above our feet. Now remember the rule I gave you for the ball being below your feet where you had to measure out. So what are we going to do? We're going to get in our good chipping setup where our weight's left, and we're going to let our left arm hang straight down. Now, as you see, as I'm letting my left arm hang straight down, how far I have to choke down on this club to measure out. That's okay. We're never worried about how much we're choking up or down as long as it's balancing out the lie for us. So, we're going to choke down, let our left hand go down, let our left arm be straight, and then we're going to put our right hand on. Now what that's going to do is that's going to elevate the club up enough so we don't hit behind the golf ball. Now, you think those lies are bad and the day's getting worse. I've just walked over and I've got a combination of the ball below my feet and not to mention the ball sitting down in a horrible lie. So what are we going to do? Well, we've got to take into consideration what we did over there. The ball's below my feet. So now I've got to measure out again. I've got to let my left arm hang straight down. You can see the grip's going to be all the way up the end of the club. And I've got to let my upper body bend down a little bit because this ball's sitting down so much, I've got to get underneath it or at least let the club get low enough to the ground. The next thing would be, I want to open the face up a little bit. And I'm going to do that by turning it open in my grip. Now, why am I doing this? Because a lot of times in a chip shot out of the rough, the heel of the club, the grass will grab the heel of the club and shut the face down. So I'm going to err for a little bit of that in my setup. Now, I'm going to take my setup and I'm going to move the ball back in my stance a little bit. And what that's going to do is hopefully it's going to let me get the ball on the club face and not get too much grass behind the ball. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let the club hinge up a little bit earlier and try to get a little bit of a steeper descent into the golf ball. So those are the types of things that'll help me hit it out of this bad lie. Now, remember this, on all of these shots, you can do a few variations to get the ball to go up in the air and to have a little more spin. One of the things you can do is you can open the face up more. The more you open the face up, the more spin you're going to get. And the other thing you can do is lean your weight a little bit more left. If you can do those two things, that'll also help the trajectory go up and help the spin become a little more great, and you'll be able to hit good chips off of bad lies.